Oh, okay.
Hi, how's it going? Sean Kilkenny, good to see you.
Sorry? Okay. That's a really dangerous situation right now. I know. In the center. Okay, you ready? Thank you. Oh, you ready? I was like, she wanted no number. I was like, what am I paying for? I was like, wait a minute. Our meeting is beginning. May we start with the Pledge of Allegiance? United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Secretary, put together the roll, please.
Good evening, Mayor Hempkins,
Present.
President Johnson,
Present.
Vice President Rollcloud,
Here.
Council Harris. Present. She's on the phone. Councilor Waters, Councilor Beatty,
Present.
Councilor Monroe,
Present.
Councilor Brooks, Solicitor Kilkenny,
Here.
Finance Director, Tax Collector Hughes,
She's absent.
Panoni Engineering. You have a quorum, Madam President.
Thank you so much. Citizens Forum. Anna, would you please come up, please? Anna.
Good evening, everyone. Can everybody hear me? I think so. Okay. One of the things that I really want to talk about is the accounts payable expenses. One of the things that we always take a look at was with regards to expenses. The engineering firm is charging $23,000 this month. I know it's a very reputable firm, but I really do think that we need to take a look with regards to other engineering firms that can provide high-quality services at a lower price. That is something that we really do need to take a look at. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about was the community event that was just held. According to the accounts payable list, we spent over $3,000 with regards to that particular event. My understanding was that there was no money in the budget for that particular event. So wondering where that money is coming from. And someone else did tell us that there was going to be no money that was paid by the borough for that particular event, that they were getting donations, but that's not what the accounts payable list is saying. So it is definitely something that we need to take a look at. The other thing that I wanted to talk about on the agenda, there's an item with regards to approving a separation agreement with regards to employee 10235. Obviously, as residents, we don't know who that employee is. We have suspicions with regards to who that is, but it is concerning that my understanding is in the past, we did not give separation agreements to anybody. So now are we setting a precedent with regards to doing this? Were there other people that should have gotten separation agreements that did not get them? So it's very questionable with regards to this. And if our understanding is correct with regards to who this is, things were done by that particular person that we said were not appropriate, like renting out a section of the borough where they shouldn't have rented out because the ground was uneven, there was a lot of liability expenses, and residents actually did end up complaining because of the tents that were put there. So before we actually go ahead and approve something like that, I think we really do need to really consider what that means to us in terms of setting precedent, possibly incurring other lawsuits from other people that were terminated previously. And the last thing that I want to say is with the budget for next year, I know with regards to the police, we're paying for the uniforms. I just want to make sure that we make, if there's going to be additional police officers that are hired next year, that we take that into account with regards to including the uniforms in the budget. And I'm sure that The finance director has that under control, but just wanted to mention it. Thank you very much for taking the time. Do appreciate it.
Thank you. Madam President, can I have the floor, please?
Can I address that?
So that's what my concern is.
In
So,
reference to,
I asked for permission to speak.
I would like to speak first, if you don't mind. In reference
Well,
to
that's kind of
Community
not how
Day,
it works. I
In
asked for
reference-
permission to be
it's
recognized.
something I need to explain.
Okay,
to the
but
question that she asked.
in order, I've asked for permission to be recognized. You can't just disregard that to say what
You're
you're.
not recognized at this time, but you will be recognized.
Okay, then I'm going to continue to talk.
Community Day.
Miss Anna,
There
I
was
tried
supposed
to, I
be
tried to
funds.
have,
Now, see,
I
you
tried
are
to
out of order.
have, to do
This
it
is why we
properly,
have a problem
but
all
she's
the time,
not.
because
yeah,
you
that's-
don't wanna follow
that's
the
also
rules.
That's also out of order.
Try to
I
follow
asked for
Robert's
permission
rules.
to
You
be
are out of
recognized,
order.
and you did not.
dictatorship?
So,
She is out of
Miss
order.
Anna, I asked permission to
This-
be recognized to
The
address
money
one of
that
the
was
questions
spent
that you
has to do
asked.
with me
And that
signing a check,
question is
and
that
she knows
certain
nothing about
positions,
it.
certain positions do have different requirements. So, we have certain positions that are union positions where terminations are handled one way, certain positions are non-exempt. So for those reasons, I can tell you that, without divulging too much information about a personnel matter, that there are instances where things have to be handled with a separation agreement, and others, it can be cut and dry. So I know that we have our antennas up a lot of the time. This isn't one of those times that we need them. Thank you.
Sure, what I would suggest is, as was said by the counselor, there is a separation agreement on the agenda. It does not set precedent, as was said by the counselor. Different situations, you have an employment agreement, a separation agreement, sometimes you do not. After council goes ahead and takes action on this, and if you're interested in getting more information about it, I would suggest you put in a right to know request on it, just because we want to treat everybody equally as far as right to know requests. We have documentations of these things. Okay? Thank you.
And in reference to the Community Day event, no money was supposed to be given to that event from the borough. Donations came in. I signed checks from the donations. Evidently, an error was made, and Mr. Nichols will explain what happened, because that was not supposed to receive any funds. They were all supposed to be from donations that she received.
Well, I'd like that explanation at this time before we move on to the next one.
The total amount that was spent was $3,108.43. To date, $1,550 in donations have come in. I was notified by Councilor Jones-Wooders that there are additional donations that came in that she will be bringing to the borough tomorrow. Right now, with the donations that came in, that will leave the borough at $1,558.43. Again, I don't know the exact amount of the donations that the counselor has with her, but we did speak, and she's going to bring those additional donations in. I do know of one other donor that spoke to me directly that's going to be not overnighting, but they are FedExing a check to the borough. And again, so that would be three, the one that I spoke to and the two that Councilor Jones-Wooders says she has.
So how is it that who signed these checks?
Myself and the council president.
So we signed checks before we received donations?
I'm signing
For
checks.
events, a common practice in the borough for events like this, yes, we do this for Flag Day. We've done this in the past for a number of events prior to, because of the date of an event.
Well, my concern is that for this specific event, and Councilor Jones-Waters was here and voted to reallocate the funds for that event elsewhere. We had an agreement amongst this council, not just the council president unilaterally, to not fund this event, and it was still funded. That's pretty concerning.
Well, it wasn't supposed to be funded.
In
It
addition,
was my understanding that her donations had come and gone into the general fund. Nothing was supposed to be given to that event, nothing. And I stated so in an email, so I don't know where the confusion is.
Are
so
you able to identify the confusion, Mr. Nichols?
the understanding in my reading was that the event was to go on. There were a lot of emails that went back and forth, and that Councilor Jones Wooders was going to solicit donations. And then I was told a dollar amount that, you know, the council president did correct me and say that she meant that the $1,000 that she referred to was to cover the overtime for public works. My understanding was that the $1,000.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that last one?
The $1,000 to
What?
cover overtime for public works.
Who
We
approved
didn't
that?
approve that, though.
Who approved that?
Approve what? The $1,000 for
Yeah,
Yes.
public works?
we never even spoke about that.
Right,
Well, if there's a borough event there, you know,
but it wasn't supposed to be a borough event. Because if it's a borough event, we would be sponsoring the borough event.
Right.
Not necessarily. That is a borough
So
event that's been given
again,
for since
there,
2015.
this is what happens when people work in silos. I wasn't privy to any of those emails. I don't believe Councilor Monroe or Councilor Beatty
I don't know why
received
not.
any of those emails. No one else was included in these decisions. The only decision I was included in, along with my co-counselors, was the decision that was made on this floor to reallocate those funds to YEAA. That's the only decision I was a part of. There should be no unilateral decisions made when it comes to distributing tax dollars.
And
This
this
is
is
a
true.
problem.
And this is
It's a
true.
problem. Counselor Johnson signed the checks.
Because
And
the money,
I'm
the
not
money
done.
had
You
come
have-
in
you will
and
have
gone
the floor.
into the general fund.
Please allow me to finish, and you can rebut or whatever you feel is necessary. But you signed the checks.
I did sign the
You
check.
should have made sure you knew exactly what you were signing. So that's a
okay.
failure on your part.
No,
That's-
it's not a
that is
failure,
that is
period.
poor
That's what you want
responsibility
to
to the
say.
taxpayer.
Now, would you like to know what
That's poor
happened?
responsibility.
Besides
In
continuing to
addition
talk.
to that, there was evidence that Counselor Jones Waters utilized governmental resources for her private event. You were presented with the evidence, the entire
I was not
council.
presented with any evidence.
We talked about it at the
We
last.
Not only did we talk
presented
about it, but I
anything.
sent you a text message with
I don't know
flyers.
where that flyer
Of course
came
you don't. Of course you don't.
I was not at that event.
Because now what you did was you went around telling people, oh, Counselor Rocloud created the flyer. Like
I don't know who
care that
created that
much
flyer.
about somebody else's family that I need
have
to create
no
a flyer.
idea who
So
created
you
that
were
flyer.
wrong. You were wrong.
I am
and you're
not
doing
wrong.
the same thing.
I am not doing the same
last
thing that
president was
anybody
doing,
else
and
does.
you're wrong.
I am not wrong.
I can't
Now,
trust you with the
I will
money.
say, and I don't
can't
trust you either.
trust
I
you
will
with the
say
money.
this. I was told that money was coming in for her event. She had solicited people. They gave her money. The money went into the general fund, and those were the checks that I was signing. I did not know, Mr. Nichols did not say to me at that time that all the money had not come in. I thought all the money was there, which is why I signed the checks. She's been giving this event since 2015. It was under the umbrella of Flag Day, of the Recreation Department. So she had a right
That's
to
not at all,
have
that
Public
information is
Works
not at all
there.
accurate.
Can I ask to be
Public Works had
recognized?
the right to be there because it is a borough event.
Council President, may I ask to be recognized?
Yes.
So this is my concern. Okay, she's been giving this event, as you said, since 2015. We did not vote. We are still required to vote for anything we feel needs to continue. Just because someone is giving an event annually, they don't arbitrarily just decide, oh, because I've been doing it, I'm going to do it again. No, that's not how it works. We decided that it was not going to take place this year. And she went ahead and said, I'm going to have it anyway. And I said to her in an email, well, then you find a way to pay for it then. She said, well, I have
money coming to me. I said, well, that's on you, but, Councilor Roadcloud mentioned there's other money from the borough that needs to be paid, like the overtime, and she's coming now, so she can speak to this, the overtime and all of that. So money from the borough is coming out of the taxpayers' dollars, no matter, how you slice it.
It was
So
not supposed to. And I stated so in an email to
Well, if
everyone.
we're paying for overtime of the employees,
Right.
that's taxpayers' money.
It's a Yeadon Borough event that's been
See,
given since
listen.
2015. She was simply supposed to get her own money for the event. There was not supposed to be any funds from the Yeadon Borough budget to go to that event.
Have these checks been sent out
The
already?
money that had already come into him. that he
Have
had
these
put
checks
into
been sent out
the
already?
general fund.
Yes.
Yes.
Y'all the worst.
Yes.
Do you know how much more money is coming in for the community day event?
There's money coming in, but I would like to back it on up because you were saying some incorrect things. Now, as far as the community day, you don't yell out. Don't do that. Don't be ignorant. Don't do that. You need to leave. If you don't want to behave, you
Who
need
is
to
that?
leave.
Well, I don't think she answered.
Now, as I was stating, that every time Community Day happens, the Public Works works all day long. Unfortunately, because of all of the hoopla about, the borough employees not being able to work, whatever, only 2 employees worked for the Community Day. But actually, it's supposed to be everybody. It's supposed to be all the borough employees, all of the departments, because that's what Community Day is about. It's supposed to be the interaction with the community as well as the borough staff members, as well as the council members. So it's a community event. This is nothing new. Although there are new counselors, this is nothing new.
That's new.
What about the new council?
Well, obviously you don't understand what Community Day
I
is.
do understand.
No,
It's my
obviously
choice
you do
whether I wanna
not.
attend
No,
a
you do not.
fraudulent event
No, you do
that
not.
we did not
You're
approve.
fraudulent.
That is- oh,
You're
ain't nothing fraudulent
fraudulent.
about me.
You're
You
fraudulent.
stole money from the
You're
borough.
fraudulent.
You came
No one
up to
stole
the
money.
borough
You stole
and
money.
bullied the staff.
You
Right?
stole
So-
money, and
When
you
I-
bullied the
I stole
staff.
money. When did that happen?
Okay, so don't make false accusations.
Excuse me.
Don't make false
Okay,
accusations that you
ladies,
cannot
please.
back up. That you
Please,
cannot
calm it
back
down.
up. Do not make false accusations
Excuse
that you
me.
cannot back up. No, it's not.
you
No,
stole money.
no.
You
No, it's
didn't
not.
approve
No,
for that money to be
no.
utilized.
That
So
money
that's
was
still-
allocated in January when we passed the budget. Now, if you guys don't understand what's going on, then I will ask you to get the records from the finance director.
That's new. And I've been accused of being a lot of things, but a thief has never been something.
Y'all got a quorum. I can go home.
Lord have mercy.
Y'all mixing apples and oranges because you're petty. Because you're petty.
Okay.
Every one of you, you're petty.
Okay, this is the
You're petty.
situation. Excuse me, this is the situation.
You're petty.
Excuse me, ladies, please. This is the situation. There was $10,000 left in the recreation budget. 5 of it initially went to YEAA. It was then determined to give him the last $5,000. There was no money to go to anything else. That included a Veterans Day celebration, the Haunted Halloween, senior luncheon, volunteer luncheon. There is no more money because it all went to one organization.
And legal fees.
The money that
Don't forget the legal
Counselor
fees.
Jones Waters sent to Mr. Nichols is the money that I signed for her to receive from people that had donated. And she has more money coming in, and I'm hoping this is going to add up to what that figure is. Because there was no money to give.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because, the problem is,
You.
even for the sponsors,
You would be the problem.
you're petty.
Oh,
You're
please,
petty
you
and
know
you're
what?
ignorant.
Can we be
As
adults in this
As I
room?
was stating, that the problem
Adults
is,
sign checks
the problem
when they have the money,
is
not
with these
before.
council members, they never participated in any community events. That's the facts.
not true.
That
That's
is
not
the
true.
facts. Okay, the
And we have
other
the
thing
right to
is,
participate in
the
what we choose
other
to
thing
participate in. You don't
is,
tell me what to
the
do.
other thing is,
Point of order.
again, if they ever participated, then they would know how things go.
Can I have
Nobody
a recommendation,
participated.
please?
So.
Nobody
Can Mr. Nichols speak, please?
So at the end of the day, like I said, the bigger concern is simply when you have a council member misappropriating funds for their
Speak for
private.
yourself. Nobody misappropriated anything. You're the same
Misappropriating
one who came to that so-called family reunion and ate my hot
funds.
dogs. You're the
Yes.
same one who
Because
put on
you
next
used
door
my
neighbor.
tax dollars
Y'all
and I
come
was
out to
gonna
this
have a
event.
hot dog.
Come out to this
Counselors.
community
Yes.
event. That's
Yes.
what you do.
'Cause you use
But
my
you want
tax
to talk
dollars.
about
Yeah.
fraudulent things.
Counselors.
You're a liar.
Yeah.
And you have a
Counselors.
problem.
Excuse me.
Counselors.
Look,
You are
that-
mentally unstable.
That's enough, Council Waters. That's
You are mentally
Mr.
unstable.
Nichols.
Get it together.
Excuse
Get
me,
your facts
ladies,
right.
please.
Get the
Counselors.
facts right.
Excuse me.
Make it make sense. Make
Do
it
I
make
need to,
sense. You got mental issues. Make it make sense.
Oh, my goodness. Mr. Nichols, go ahead.
The only thing I was gonna say, right now, we know $1,558 is outstanding. Counselor Jones Waters and I spoke, and we know that 3 more donations are coming in.
Well, I
It
thought
could-
you said
Thank you,
earlier
Mr.
that some of it
Nichols.
was already here.
Some of it is, and I also said that Counselor
We have a
Jones
check
Waters.
for you too, Mr.
Right.
Nichols.
So I
One
know
of my
that someone told me
gracious
that they were
sponsors.
sending a check in, and Counselor Jones Waters also had 2 other vendors that were sending checks in for a week. They could
Good,
be.
because, good.
Right.
And the important thing.
So can we
and-
report back? Can I report back to you?
And the important thing is, that sponsors understand that communities have a community appreciation day. They understand that they want to give back to the community, and that's what they indeed did. Thank you.
So
Okay,
counselors,
so
I
we'll
will.
look forward
once-
to the money
once
coming
the-
in. Thank
Once the
you.
3 checks
Miss,
come in.
Liz
No, remember,
Akmakovich,
you want to be tax
come up,
dollars paid
please.
for a damn hot dog.
Excuse me, we have a resident coming up to speak.
So ignorant. You're so ignorant. You're
Oh, come
so
on,
ignorant.
you all.
You're a loser. You're so ignorant.
Child. The fact that she.
Go ahead. We have a
Behave.
resident, excuse me,
Behave.
we have a resident trying to speak.
Residents would like an apology from Counselor Jones Waters.
No apology.
For telling an elderly resident, the widow of a Vietnam vet,
There you go lying.
to suck dick. Last
Excuse
time,
me, excuse
she
me. I don't talk like
was
that.
at
I don't
a
talk like that. Why
legislative
you up there lying?
meeting.
Why are you up there lying?
We all were sitting
supposed to
here.
be
Take a 5-minute
neighbor, and
recess.
you're a
We
liar.
all heard
You
that.
are supposed to be a good neighbor.
Excuse me.
And you are in charge of good neighbors, and you are a bad neighbor. You
We
sitting
are
up
taking
there
a
lying.
5-minute
I
recess.
don't talk like that. Everyone knows I don't talk like that.
We all heard
so you
it.
need to stop lying.
We were all
You
here.
need to stop lying.
You said it right
You are
in
a liar,
Chief
and you're not a good
Gianmarco's
neighbor.
right
You are not a
ear.
good neighbor.
It passed through
You
Chief
are not a
Gianmarco's
good
right ear,
neighbor.
out his
You are
left
not
ear,
a good
to the
neighbor,
ears of
and
the
you
rest
are a
of the
liar.
residents.
Unfortunately, you are a liar, and that's a shame.
Look in the mirror, lady.
Well, you're a liar too, mister. Wait a minute. You're her husband, right? You're her husband?
Told nothing in my life.
Birds of a feather flock together. Stop lying. Don't lie on me. Don't lie on me.
Don't listen, stop. Talia.
Yeah, we don't need
Get
to
up
rest
and
up.
walk out,
We don't
please.
need to.
No.
You need to settle down. Yeah, you need
No,
a recess.
You need to settle down. Stop lying on me. You need to settle down.
3 minutes when you all go back.
I'm not going back there because ain't nothing to recess about. Whatever I can say back there, I can say up here.
And I absolutely can as well.
And guess what? Who cares?
And I absolutely can as well. I can as well. And nobody's talking to you. You know what? You know what? You're so disrespectful. You shouldn't be sitting up here. You're very disrespectful. You're very disrespectful. You're very and wait a minute. And you want to talk about, you want to lie and say I said something that I didn't say. But how about you? You supposed to be a teacher, right? And you sitting up there calling people, and you call people retarded, and you are supposed to service people? You should not, you call Loren retarded and you call other people retarded and you supposed to be a teacher. I feel sorry for your students.
How about when you were calling people mentally ill?
Talking about people.
How about when you were calling people mentally ill? How about when you were calling people mentally ill?
She doesn't care. She cursed everybody out.
Not about
She
you.
cursed everybody out. And she probably even cursed you out if you wasn't
I
on her
will
side.
not go down that rabbit
Okay,
hole.
Michael Trent.
Okay?
Go down that
Is
rabbit
Michael
hole.
Trent, please come up to the,
Very disrespectful. Well, I'm so glad you're not. I'm so glad you're not. Because you talk, I'm so glad you're not. I'm so glad you're not. Stop calling people retarded and stop saying you're gonna beat people.
okay, at this time, we're gonna work.
Grow up.
Excuse me,
Grow up.
why don't y'all take that outside?
Grow up. I
Take
have
that
folks,
outside.
we're gonna
Grow
move-
up.
Take it outside.
Up.
We're gonna move on to the next agenda item. What's the next agenda item?
Mr. Nichols, would you please start the finance report?
Prime example.
Yeah. Is it
The
finance?
prime example, and I'm not a thief.
Well, we-
And I'm not a thief.
that you're
All right, all right. Guys, ladies. Ladies.
That's
ladies,
good.
ladies,
I got
we're
better
gonna go
plans.
into-
You know what?
I got better
We're gonna-
plans. It's good.
Okay,
You
okay.
need to be,
All right,
you need to be
ladies.
educated. You need to be educated.
Sorry.
Because
All
when
right.
you send
We
emails
got
back and
Mr.
forth,
Nichols.
you
You gotta
don't
make
even
the
Take
answer
that
finance report.
outside. Take it
Mr.
outside.
Nichols.
Yes, all your typos. You sound illiterate.
All
No,
right.
because that's what you did.
All right, let's-
Stop
We are
calling people
getting ready.
retarded.
All right.
We are getting ready
All right, we
to
are.
do the finance report.
All right, Mr. Nichols, just go ahead.
We are getting
I don't
ready.
talk like that.
Just go ahead.
I don't talk like that.
All right, ladies.
We are getting
ladies,
ready to
time
do
out.
the finance
Time
report.
out. Time out, guys.
It's a figure
No,
of
time out.
This
Time
is
out.
absolutely ridiculous.
Come on, Mr. Nichols, give your report.
Mr. Nichols, please.
And Liz is.
Madam President, I ask that my report be accepted
Go
as
get
read.
some boxing gloves and
Okay.
box it out.
Bad neighbor.
All right.
Take
so-
it outside.
all right,
Just
all
like
right,
you.
all right.
You're a bad neighbor.
So
and-
Mr. Nichols' report
Madam
has been
President, I ask that
submitted.
my report be accepted as read at the workshop meeting and ask for consideration for the approval of AP list for September 2023.
So moved.
So moved, I guess.
So moved.
That's all I got to say.
Do we have a second?
Do we have a second? Is anybody paying attention? We have a second.
Yes.
Thank you.
All in favor?
All
Voice
in
vote.
favor?
You want a voice vote, right? Counselor?
Yes.
President Johnson?
Yes.
Well, you have, questions.
Any questions?
Any
And what is
questions?
this for? You said
The
the
AP
report.
list.
Oh, no, I thought you asked for consideration to accept your report as read at
Yeah,
the
that's
workshop.
what you, yeah.
I said, please accept my report as read as the workshop, and then I asked for a motion for
And I said so
approval
moved.
of the AP
All right,
list.
so
Okay,
we're
well, I
done.
do have questions on this AP list. I mean, I'm almost afraid to bring it up again, and I'm not, but it's like beating a dead horse at this point about this, over $3,000 for that, community day. I was looking at the, on page 6, animal control. Did we, reach out to the vendor to see if we can come up with some sort of reasonable rate when requesting services?
I reached out to him, and he said it's $250 per animal. What he did is he just got an animal the other week, so they gave, the actual owner's name got returned, so we're gonna send them a bill for the $250. But I also looked into Brandywine. Brandywine's almost $12,000 a year.
Okay.
So Philadelphia SPCA won't come in. The other ones that take away the skunks, and they don't do dogs either, so we've been looking around, so if anyone has any suggestions for the dogs, that's the problem, is the dogs.
Okay. Now, what is the checks and balances with respect to when the vendor comes in and picks the dog up and the dog owner goes and retrieves the dog? So how do we know so that we can get some sort of refund or?
He just provided what we did is I bought, or Borough bought one of those little RFD detectors.
Right.
So now the procedure is when they bring an animal in, they scan it to see if it's a chip. And if it's a chip, they just put it in the Google machine and it spits out who's the owner is so we can contact. But with this Dean, the dog vendor, if I lost a dog and I go to him, he's giving us the name of the dog, the owner's information, phone number, and address, and then we're gonna bill. And that's basically what we're doing now.
Okay, so
To see
it's
if we can
kind of,
recoup, yeah.
so it's kind of like an honor system, like you have to trust them to give you
Yeah,
that
and-
information.
And like I said, if anyone knows anyone with the Brandywine would be great, but Brandywine literally would probably be about $12,000 a year because you need a retainer fee. And then you're also responsible if that dog does not get adopted, you're paying until that dog gets adopted, food and store and housing, let's say, so.
Okay, and how much is that probably a month?
I'm assuming it might be like 100 to 200. I'll give you the proposal they sent to me. I'll send you the proposal.
Only because, I see here, and it says Delaware County Animal Control, 1940, and then I see Animal Control for Dean, 250. So is that two separate?
Yes, the
Okay.
animal control that's the people to come out for the skunks, the squirrels, the rodents. That's their organization. Dean just does dogs. And they do not, and we tried to get that other, but they won't do dogs for whatever reason. So I'm assuming it's harder that, if no one comes to get the dog, then you have to adopt the dog or put the dog in a shelter.
Okay, so at this point, Dean Fountain is willing to give us some money back if the dog owner comes and claims
Yes.
the dog?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm assuming you have like an arrangement as to a percentage of
No,
how much you get
right
back?
now, right now, you said it's an honor system, and that's what we're working on to see with this first owner. If this owner had to give Dean money, and then we should be getting that money recouped. So we'll reach out to the owner. We just got the information actually yesterday, the bill with the owner's information on it and his phone number.
Okay, okay. Now, from a legal standpoint, solicitor, are we within our rights to do that?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, just want to make sure. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, the motion has been moved
I'm
and
not done,
second.
I'm not done.
Something else?
Yes, I see some legal fees here for Mr. Ewald, $225. What's happening? I thought the restore situation was resolved. We were just waiting for papers to be signed and,
The invoice that I reviewed talked about some services that he provided in August, and it was communication between him and some attorney related to the settlement.
okay,
So
okay,
that'll probably be the last check.
It probably should be the last check.
okay. All right. And is our solicitor, current solicitor involved in that?
I'm not sure.
No, I'm
No,
not aware of that.
no.
If you,
I can loop you in.
that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, please,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I know we have to do some exchanges here.
Mhm.
Yeah, so, okay. I think that's it.
Motion has been moved and second.
All right. President Johnson,
Yes.
Councilor Rollcloud,
No.
Not the president.
Did you,
Councilor Jones Waters.
Present.
No, it's a vote for the AP list.
Vote for the AP.
Oh, I'm sorry.
so worried about titles.
My bad, I'm
So
so
worried
sorry.
about
Come
titles.
on,
Yes.
y'all, come on, let's keep it cool.
Councilor Harris,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty.
No.
Motion carries 3-2, 2 noes. All right. Consideration of the cash balance report for the month of August.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
May I get a second? Motion has been moved and second. Any questions? Concerns? May you take the vote, please?
President Johnson,
Yes.
Vice President Rollcloud,
No.
Councilor Jones Woodard,
Yes.
Councilor Harris,
Yes.
Counselor Beatty?
No.
Motion carries.
Okay, we're moving on to new business. Does anyone have any new business they want to discuss? Moving on to the minutes.
Well, with respect to the new business, my concern is the rental of the Borough Hall. We've been getting slammed with repairs, cleanup, so forth and so on with this rental. It appears to me that depending on who you know, the rates are staggered. It's not a precise process at all. Our hall sustained someone actually defecated in the stairwell. That's a problem. We have absolutely no monitoring at all. The borough is completely exposed where the attendees for the events, they can just wander anywhere they want throughout the borough. And this cannot go on. It cannot continue to go on. I've asked over a month or so ago that we sit down, review the rental contract, and come up with a new contract along with identifying how we're going to make sure that the borough is going to be kept safe and secured while these events are taking place.
And Counselor, for the record, I have had them suspend rentals of the hall.
Very good.
I was just about to make that.
We only have 2 more rentals on the books. I know one is in December. I don't know when the other one is, but they were booked about a year ago, so
Okay.
we let them remain.
Okay.
The last 2 events that were held here, we did hold back and keep the entire security deposit because of the issues that we had. And one event, we're actually going to go after their insurance carrier because of the damages that were done downstairs. So
Fantastic.
we are working on it. We know that it's an issue, and we are going to meet to discuss how the new application process will look moving forward.
Yes,
Now,
okay,
I
very good,
also-
thank you.
I asked that copies of that contract be given to all the counselors, and I wanted everyone to look it over.
Yeah.
Notate what you think needs to be changed, increase, decrease, whatever. So we can kind of do that on our own and then pick a date where we can all sit and discuss it and start a new contract.
Can I be recognized?
Sure.
My suggestion is when we come to December and we vote for the budget for next year, that's when we should decide what we're going to do as far as renting out the borough.
Have it done by the end of the
And
year.
have it done by then, going into the new year.
That's feasible, okay.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Nichols and maybe Chief, you can answer that. We don't have any cameras in the stairwells?
That particular stairwell, no, they did it on the back stairwell off of the kitchen. That one isn't really, the public shouldn't
Because I
access
thought
that.
we had some.
We have them in the other stairwells, but that one, I thought the same thing and asked, and I was told that we didn't have one in that particular stairwell. But again, we are looking at a proposal to upgrade the camera system in Borough Hall as well.
Awesome, thank you.
Well, we just let
And we
everybody
should,
know where
because
we don't
it's,
have cameras.
we're at risk.
No, we have cameras.
I know we
What I
don't.
said
I know
is that one little stairwell.
But there's several places where we should have it, and we don't.
Horrible. That person had to be insane, because that's crazy to do something like that. Like, we're in Center City in the subway somewhere. Like, that's nuts.
That's awful. Okay, moving on to the minutes.
Oh, before we move on, when things like that occur, and I don't anticipate it occurring again, I would hope and pray not. However, when we have our employees, specifically Public Works, that's performing the maintenance of same, are we making sure they have the proper protective gear?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Yeah, it's biohazard.
Okay, moving on to the minutes. May I have a motion to approve June 15, 2023 legislative meeting minutes?
So moved.
May I get a second?
Second.
Any questions, concerns? Hearing none. May you take the vote?
Counselor,
Counselor
President Johnson?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Counselor, Counselor Harris, you had a question? No, I don't have. Okay. President Johnson?
May we have the vote, please?
President Johnson?
Yes.
Vice President Roll Cloud?
Yes.
Counselor Jones Waters?
Yes.
Counselor Harris? No. Counselor Beatty?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Minutes for July 2023 legislative meeting minutes. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any questions, concerns? Hearing none. May we take the vote, please?
President Johnson?
Yes.
Vice President Roll Cloud?
Yes.
Counselor Jones Waters?
Yes.
Counselor Harris? Minutes from July 20, 2023? Counselor Beatty?
Yes.
The vote is unanimous.
A motion for August 17, 2023 legislative meeting minutes. May I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any questions, concerns? Hearing none. May we have the vote, please?
President Johnson?
Yes.
Vice President Roll Cloud?
Yes.
Counselor Jones Waters?
Yes.
Counselor Harris? Counselor Beatty?
Yes.
The vote is unanimous.
Engineers report. Please come up.
Good evening. I have 6 agenda items that would need a motion, starting with the Duff Avenue sinkhole bids. They were opened on Monday. There was a total of 7 bids received. The low bidder was Abenizio Contractors for $104,754. This project is a CDBG project. The construction will be fully funded by the county. And this is to remove all the concrete, fix the multiple sinkholes, and repave the entire road along Duff Avenue. If approved, I would just need a motion to award to the low bidder in that amount.
So moved.
That's to Abenizio.
Abenizio Contractors, yes.
Motion to approve
So moved.
Abenizio Contractors for the bid for Duff Avenue. May I have a motion?
So moved.
May I get a second?
Second.
Questions, concerns?
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Do we have any research with respect to the company itself, with respect to whether or not they had any issues with any of the work being performed in the past, so forth and so on?
Yes, so when we receive bids, they're required to show a history working in the past, along with at least 2 similar projects of at least 75%. Us as Pannoni have also worked with them in the past and found no issues, and we did talk to the Public Works Director as well, and he had no issues with the contractor.
Okay.
Okay, next.
Well, we'll take a vote.
Take the vote.
President Johnson?
Yes.
Vice President Roll Cloud?
Yes.
Counselor Jones Waters?
Yes.
Counselor Harris? Yes. Counselor Beatty?
Yes.
The vote is unanimous.
The next agenda item is regarding the ADA ramps and pedestrian improvement bids that were also opened on Monday. This is a DCED multimodal grant that was received to replace 43 ramps and crosswalks around the borough. This bid, we received 8 contract bids, and the low bidder was Cipollone & Sons. However, after reviewing the bids and looking at the various grants that you have, we do recommend rebidding this project and removing the total grant for this project is about $270,000, and this bid came in slightly over budget. And what we can do is we can reallocate 6 of those ramps into the TA set-aside funding. So again, grant funding will still cover it, but it will be done a little bit later and still within the scope of the other project. This would hopefully be reduced by rebidding it and stay within the grant funding. So we recommend rebidding this project and not awarding at this time.
And is that G&B?
GMB. I'm sorry, I don't know what GMB is.
Which company did you
The
initially?
Cipollone and Sons was the low bidder for that project. But I don't.
What is the name of that company again? I don't see that on here.
G&B was the second low bidder for the Duff Avenue improvements, but
Okay,
nothing related to Cipollone.
Okay.
Albert Cipollone and Sons was the low bidder for this project.
okay. But you want to rebid this one, you said?
We do. So I would like your approval to rebid this project and come back with new results next month.
So moved.
Second. Any questions, concerns?
I do have some questions. So, okay, so it says here 43 ADA compliant curb cut ramps, so forth and so on. So you would like to rebid it, but rebid it with less projects?
Less ramps,
Ramps.
to reduce the scope and have a less bid amount, yes.
Okay, so, and you said the project, some of the ramps that will be reduced will be done at a later date.
With the TA set-aside program on West Cobbs Creek.
Okay, so what is the time frame about that?
For the
Yeah.
delay, unfortunately, with the TA set aside, which is why we tried to put as much as we could in this scope. With that delay, it will be part of the TA set aside, which is that 2-year permitting PennDOT program. So,
So it would be delayed for about 2 years.
yes, we got as much as we could within the scope, and
So how many of these ramps would you have to delay?
just 6.
Just 6?
Mm-hmm.
Have you made a decision as to which 6
Yes,
would be delayed?
yes, the ones that fall within the scope of West Cobbs Creek, so that funding can still be applied for, the borough still does not have to cover the cost of that, it will just be delayed to be included in a different project.
Okay. But we don't know exactly which ones.
We do. The intersections of, off the top of my head, it would be West Cobbs and McDade, and then I apologize, it's the 2 intersections to the north, which I do not know off the top of my head.
Okay. Okay. West Cobbs and McDade, that little triangle situation there, I
Yes.
mean, don't you think that's kind of an important one?
I do,
Given
but
that-
at the same time, and we'll talk, when we get to number 5, we'll talk about how that whole area is being reworked so much that we felt like those could, because of the other improvements that are going on in the area,
Okay.
we could afford to reallocate those to a different time. So that, and because there's other funding, if we took out some of the ones that were along Bailey Ave or in front of the park, community park, the borough would just have to pay for them outright without having
Right.
any grant funding towards it.
Understood. Okay.
Okay, maybe we can have the vote?
President Johnson,
Yes.
Vice President Roll Cloud,
Yes.
Councilor Jones Waters,
Yes.
Councilor Council Harris, Councilor Beatty.
Yes.
The vote is unanimous.
The next item is for the Keystone Grant for the library's windows and doors. That grant came in, it is a 50% match, and through that program, we can also use co-stars to request bids. We had a site meeting, met with 6 different contractors at the library. They got to look around. We had a big discussion on what would be the best for the library, and we received 2 bids back. The low bidder was Well Built Glass, who is also the contractor that replaced the other windows in the library a few years ago through the same program. Their bid came back at $55,688, which is within $3,000 of the total grant budget. So I am looking for an award to award the project to Well Built Glass pending approval from the grant agency for the use through CoStars.
So
Okay.
moved.
Motion for the grant for the library window and door replacement.
So moved.
Somebody a second?
Second.
Questions, concerns? Vote, please.
President Johnson,
Yes.
Vice President Roll Cloud,
Yes.
Councilor Jones Waters,
Yes.
Councilor Council Harris. Counselor Beatty?
Yes.
The vote is unanimous.
The next item is regarding the drainage issues off of North Providence. I believe Joe Vasuso explained a lot of this last month, and there's been some additional email correspondence. Pretty much what we are, based upon meetings on site with the engineer and the resident solicitor, they have requested additional calculations and plan details prior to doing any construction on their property. We estimate this would cost no more than $5,000. So at this time, we're requesting approval to proceed with that design and calculations.
Do we have that in the budget for Providence Road? That $5,000?
There's,
was-
yes, there's application.
That was part of the project.
Any questions, concerns?
The motion is not on the floor yet.
Take the vote, please.
The motion wasn't made.
I'm sorry.
Think-
What happened?
The motion was not made.
I'm sorry.
She was just clarifying, was there a motion?
Oh, there is a motion to consider for the approval to proceed with the additional calculation plan details for the drainage off of North Providence Avenue, not to exceed $5,000.
Yeah. fine.
So moved.
Can I get a second? A second, anyone?
Council Harris, second.
Okay, thank you. Questions, concerns?
I have a question. So I do remember Mr. Fiduso explaining what was happening here. Was the solicitor involved in this?
Mr. Boggs was.
Might have been the
Mr.
previous
Boggs,
solicitor.
but do you know about this situation?
I have a meeting scheduled up. It was very nice. The engineer reached out to me to coordinate on various issues. That's yet to happen. It's going to happen very, very soon, I believe. So I do not know about this per se. So I apologize.
No worries. I mean, I kind of feel like our solicitors should be involved in this and at least know what's going on so that we can make an informed decision. Because what I'm afraid of is that opposing counsel will come back and request more that he wants done. And you understand what I'm saying? So that's my concern. That's my concern.
What is your thought on this? Tell her to please.
Counselor, could you mute your phone, please?
Megan, what is your thought about this?
My understanding was that roughly 3 to 4 years ago, improvements were made to the property, and they failed during large rain events. And the reason that we are going back out here is to fix this, change the design and extend it. However, the property owners are hesitant to let us back on the property to fix the issues, considering last time the issues failed. I do know we've had multiple site meetings out there, and I do understand that the last solicitor, he was involved in everything. He did review the easements. He was at the meeting on site. As far as, we've come to the agreement with the, property owner and, that we will design and provide them the calculations for their review. At that point, the construction costs have also already been budgeted for this. This has been probably over a year at this point. We've been talking about this. I don't want to say it's not a large project. I don't want to degrade it, but it is not something where they could build it up more than. At the end of the day, we need to put in a pipe to extend it so it does not erode their property and it does not flood out their house. And we can do that and provide calculations. That's as much as I can expand on the project at this time.
Yeah, so I understand that, but like I said, my concern is this going to be enough? I don't want their attorney to come back and say, this isn't enough, we need something else. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
I want to make sure that whatever they're requesting, and if we agree to approve whatever they're requesting, then this is it.
To be honest, beyond engineering, detail and plans, I don't know what else we could possibly provide them.
Okay.
And please elaborate on if there's, something
I mean,
I'm missing.
Even including aesthetics, because I don't want them to say, this looks ugly. You understand what I'm saying? Now
Absolutely.
It's a problem, because you're talking about people's property here. So I want to make sure that, what they're asking for you know, and what we are able to do for them, they will be in agreement with it, and it won't be any extra. They know we have to extend this pipe, so it means it's going all the way up to, and I'm just putting this out there, I don't know, but it's going to go to almost your front door.
Got it.
And you good with that? You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I want to make sure, because it's no sense in spending money, and then they say, no, it's ugly, we don't want it there.
Do they have anything in writing as to how they want the facade to look once it's completed?
I will be honest, there's no facade. Previously there was, you know, a wall and kind of exactly what you're talking about. We are now proposing to bury a pipe out from under it and then direct it right towards the stream. They should not see anything after this.
So
It will,
aesthetically,
it should just look like grass. And it is going away from their property towards the stream where the water would flow naturally, except it's not going to have the opportunity to erode their property and flood anything near their house this time.
That sounds good.
But to your
I'm
point,
done.
Mr. Kilkenny, just to look over everything, just to make sure we are covered.
So what I could suggest, if council wanted to move forward, perhaps you can make a motion to approve if you wanted to, felt comfortable, subject to me talking to the engineer and Mr. Boggs, just to make sure all the Ts are crossed and Is.
Okay.
If that's okay. So it moves forward, hopefully everything is good. If not, we'll bring it back to you.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
That's fine.
So we will do this approving the calculations for North Providence Road pending the solicitor's review of it. Okay.
Sounds good?
May I get a motion?
So moved.
Second. Any more questions, concerns? Okay, vote please.
President Johnson,
Yes.
Vice President Roquel,
Yes.
Councilor Jones Waters,
Yes.
Council Harris. Yes. Councilor Beatty.
Yes.
The vote is unanimous.
The next item is regarding the Arley grant for McDade's Avenue one-way project. So as a backup, you guys have heard me talking about the TA set-aside project that is going to take years, and we know it's going to cost a lot of money. At the beginning, in looking at the different funding between the ramps that had some funding for that, and this one that was pending up until a few months ago when it was awarded, our idea was to bundle everything together. After we realized that the permitting and everything with PennDOT would take 2 years, we found it beneficial to break out the projects individually, do the ramps under a separate project and get those done sooner rather than later. In looking at the Arley project, that can be done ahead of time because it does not involve a PennDOT road. It is a borough-owned road. After you get past the signal, that is a borough-owned road. We can do what we want to it. In order to move forward, to make McDade in that section one way, and which is where one of the speed humps was just installed, we can move forward with that project, the almost $300,000 project, do the signal upgrades, do everything at that intersection. However, in order to do that, we would need to do a small amount of redesign to the signal permits for $4,500 from TPD that would be done now, install the project, and then in the 2 years when the TA set-aside project comes down West Cobb's, this $4,500 redesign would get pulled from that project and pulled into this design.
So at this point, I'm sorry, at this point, we're looking for the $4,500 for additional design.
For additional design to move forward
Okay.
with this project now instead of 2 years from now.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense. I apologize.
Okay, motion for phase one to proceed, additional design work at a cost of $4,500. May I get a motion?
So moved.
Second? Any questions, concerns?
I have a question. So, okay, so basically, the $4,500 additional is for the additional design work needed, right?
Yes.
The project would need that design work anyway, right?
Yes, eventually for the project from 2 years from now. Because it's going to one way, the intersection at the end would need some changes.
Right, so it would have to be done anyway. So it was supposed to be done anyway, right?
Yes, as part of the bigger project.
Right, so what I'm not understanding is why do we have to pay $4,500 now. I heard what you said, so we can get the work done now, because it's a borough-owned road, but I kind of feel like this design work that's needed has to be done anyway and should already be included.
So if you remember, and this back probably last year sometime, TPD had already been contracted to do the design work for this Arley project. It was part of a PennDOT agreement. TPD would have to make those changes, which is why we're asking for, yes, we could roll it into the bigger design and have Pannoni do it as part of that project, because it would have to be done by another engineer, because they've already done the work. That is why we wanted to present it to you, because it would be outside of the scope of the work of what we're already doing and what you've already agreed to let us do.
So
Yeah.
you're saying that you really need to do additional work right now because you separated, everything's been being done in different phases, and where it was going to be done maybe a year from now, because you're doing it now, we have to get the new design now?
Yes, a small amount of design would have to be done now to move this project into construction.
Will there be another design needed at another $4,500 at a later date?
No, this would be the one time, this would be it for that intersection, and it would carry over into the next project.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I just have one comment. I just want to commend you for the action that's been taken to date. It's really made a big difference.
I'm glad to hear that.
So this has been a nightmare for 20, 30 years, and we've seen no movement on it. And finally, we've had, maybe the timing, maybe your firm or whatever, but it's all the provisions that have been taken has been very, very helpful. So I want to thank you for that.
Okay. Motion for phase one, did I?
We did that.
Okay, so we're taking a vote now.
President Johnson,
Yes.
Vice President Roquel,
Yes.
Councilor Jones Waters,
Yes.
Councilor Council Harris,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimous.
The last item I have is regarding the Delco Greenway grants that are due on the 29th of this month. This is a grant from the county. There is no match required. We would go in for a recreation grant. In talking with Public Works and the needs of the borough, it was requested that additional basketball courts be installed, or an additional basketball court, I apologize, it's singular, at Community Park, and this would be for funds to construct that. And I would need a resolution to move forward with that application.
Okay, motion for the Delco Greenways Grant, which is due September 29th. Need council's approval for a resolution to submit the grant. May I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions, concerns?
I have a question. So, you said a potential application for an additional basketball court.
Yes.
Who came up with that?
It was discussion with Public Works and the need for, based upon the summer rec, I believe, and the need for the public basketball camp and the needs for the courts. It was requested to put on there for a watch for potential grant opportunities.
So, okay, so, I don't know, but what if someone said, well, what about maybe tennis court or something else? I don't know. I just don't understand how, everybody's not asked. It seemed like only, a limited number of people are being asked, what would you like? And they say it and they tell you, and that's what it is, without everybody else being at the table to have an understanding, what else could go there. You understand what I'm saying?
Understood.
Even with the community, nobody's asked. You know, so now we're talking about, oh, okay, an application for an additional basketball court, but, you know, maybe the community wants something other than a basketball court. You know what I'm saying? Just to have variety at Community Park. You know, that's my issue here.
And
So
Megan, correct me, I may be wrong because I wasn't involved in all of this, but I believe this complements the other two grants that we have from DCNR and.
This technically would be separate.
No,
This,
I know that, but those plans and designs, community input.
yes, it could be rolled into one.
It came from
but
that.
it is.
That's what I was told, at least from Public Works, because I asked the same question. They took it from the community meetings that were held when, this was years ago, when we got those two other grants that we're in the process of doing, the top lot, like all of, it's the whole community park that we're doing over. But I probably shouldn't have said anything.
No, that's
Because I'm being
fine.
brought up to speed myself
Yeah,
on the
because
stuff.
I wasn't privy to that, so I
So
don't know.
let me ask you,
I was
I know
there.
sometimes the grants
This is
only
like
allow you
2020.
to put certain
Oh, okay.
items in. Is this one, could it be changed, say the tennis court?
The grant is for open space options. So there is many different, and don't get me wrong, there is many different options. And there is, you know, if you wanted to do a trail option, there's a trail category. If there is a recreation need for parks, you know, this is what we fall under. There is a design, if you had a design project, there is a pool for that. There is a lot of different options. So yes, if there is another opportunity that you feel, and I will be honest, for the borough, I have, you know, a running list of items and as we hear things, you know, West Creek and McDade Boulevard and the intersection out here, as people complain and as we have issues and grant opportunities, those are presented. So this was one of the needs that we heard and found that this grant would be a great opportunity for this. If there is another need that has a higher priority or something else that, you know, would be better suited for this grant opportunity, absolutely. At this time, this was the only opportunity I knew of, let's put it that way, and wanted to present.
So right now, we just need the resolution, but at a later date, we could all sit down and decide on putting something else there that might be more suitable?
Not necessarily. This is a grant application with a very specific scope. Once I put that scope in, it's very hard to change that.
Well, I mean, you know.
And at this point, all there is are basketball courts, am I right?
As far as the scope goes, yes.
Okay.
This grant allows for a max request of $250,000. So I don't think a basketball court will not cost $250,000, but we max of. We can, you know, if somebody wants a bike rack, we can throw in a bike rack. But my point is, we are doing a lot of other improvements through the other grants that you guys are already aware of that I don't want to overwhelm Community Park at the same time.
Including a walk area?
The walkway is part of the other grant that's already approved.
Okay.
Is this a matching grant?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope, it is fully funded by the county.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just think moving forward, you know, but Mr. Nichols said I was privy to it. I just don't remember a lot of things. So I may have been, but I don't remember. But I mean, September 29th is around the corner, so money's on the table.
Okay, may we take a vote, please?
President Johnson,
Yes.
Vice President Rollcloud,
Yes.
Councilor Jones Waters,
Yes.
Councilor Harris,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty.
Yes.
The vote is unanimous.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay, thank you. Mayor, you want to move the mayor up to number 8?
Okay, thank you, Madam President.
You're welcome.
My report stands as submitted. Copies are on the table there by the chief, so you could take one before you leave. And they were posted for the elected officials before the meeting. Just want to point out a couple of things. We did hold Mayor's Forum. It's a special Mayor's Forum last Thursday. in the auditorium, we honored our three recent retirees, the new officers that were sworn in, as well as our crossing guards. It was well attended, gave way, as we always do, awards and prizes, refreshments, courtesy of the mayor and his wife. Police staffing, the only thing I want to, of the four that we did swear in, one left, that was reported, so we're down to 3 of the 4. So I have, by my count, 16 full-time officers to date and one part-time officer. And last meeting, Civil Service Commission did vote to authorize, council voted to authorize the Civil Service Commission to start a new hiring process for full-time officers. So I see Michael Trent, the chair, in the audience. So hope we could start that in earnest, Mike. We good? Okay, good. August 10th, we had a public safety symposium. I've got some follow-up items. One of the things that were discussed is a camera system that I believe the district attorney said there's a great model at Chester, and Chief Gianmarco has arranged to visit that chief, actually tomorrow, Chief Gretzky, tomorrow, Friday, September 22nd, to review the system and to see how we can maybe glean from it, duplicate what they're doing, get the same grant or whatever, or similar grant. So we'll report on that concurrently. Right, Chief? Okay. The other thing that we did discuss was revisiting block captains, and there was much discussion at the symposium, also offline, and former counselor Ron Francis has agreed to spearhead the revival of that initiative, so we're going to continue to try to revamp that. And finally, everybody knows that Curl Field is finished. It poses some great things, innovations, but some challenges. And one of the challenges, I received a call from, I don't want to speak out of order, but I also want to notify the residents of what's going on and some of the considerations. I saw some traffic on next door about it. We've customarily been granted access. It's in Yeadon. It's 100% in Yeadon. And it's, even though Yeadon gave it to the William Penn School District, it's our field. As for residents, they've always worked out there, walked, and I believe they have a proposal to limit that. And how that's going to look like remains to be seen, but we're in discussions. That's one of the things we discussed with Dr. B. Coates, the superintendent. The other thing is that, what's the other thing? Yeah, who's going to, well, they have the football games on Friday nights, and the chief and I would like it on Saturdays, the way it used to be around in school districts, because you have a more civil crowd on Saturdays. There's been a trend around the country where there's been shootings and people acting wild on Friday nights, because Friday nights people party. It's a more festive crowd, and it's harder to control. And then even though the school district is paying for some things overtime and the like, we're the ones that have to monitor it and police it every day. And with the new, there's going to be new challenges. I remember when I was a kid, we had, in my old area, we had a new track. People were riding their bikes, motorcycles. They looked at it as a real free-for-all, or, let me try it out. So we anticipate a lot of people who didn't use the track to now see this new facility and think they could ride their motorcycles and test it out and things like that. So it's going to present some challenges. And then lastly, there's been some rumors that, unfortunately, Rap Curry passed. He's the husband of Gina Curry, state rep, and he was a Penwood graduate, and he came back to coach, became a great star at St. Joe's. It's a great regional hero. So there's a movement or suggestion to change Kerr Field in his honor to Curry Field, and I've had to do some homework and talk to our first, before I wrote Dr. Becoats a letter, and we discussed it, and I told him I think it was a bad idea. I think it's an honorable suggestion. I think it's a great suggestion. I think it's a noble suggestion. But I told him that as a mayor of Yeadon and somebody who represents Yeadon and knowing the history, I took him through a little history lesson that William T. Kerr catapulted Yeadon, Delaware County, the state of Pennsylvania, into the history books, okay, to have Flag Day recognized as its own day. And he said, well, where's the yard marker for that? I said, look, sometimes the yard markers don't catch up to the realities. Sometimes yard markers could be obsolete. He's in the Wikipedia. You Google or look up in Wikipedia or any encyclopedia, William T. Kerr, or the founder of Flag Day, and you'll see him. That catapults Yeadon, William Penn School District, Delaware County, state of Pennsylvania, in the honors of the history books. And if you start changing it, where does it end? And there's a proposal to change it to Leroy Burrell Field, or a combination of that. Leroy Burrell, and I'm a track man, sports enthusiast. I was a track star in high school. I followed the Olympics. Leroy Burrell is a regional hero. He's an Olympic sprinter and did us proud, and that's great. But do you change the name every time a great sports star comes along? What if there's another Michael Jordan? When does it end? Should we change the name of William Penn School District to something else? Because William Penn's name's outdated, especially in our area. Should we change that name? Where does it end? And I told them that I, for one, I think it'll shoot ourselves in the foot, because you have an unprecedented event that is a national thing for the nation, where we're catapulted in the annals of history, where Pennsylvania saw the first, we were the makers of the first flag, Betsy Ross in Philadelphia. The decisive battle of the Civil War was fought here in Gettysburg, where the President Lincoln came by train and issued the Gettysburg Address in Pennsylvania. And the Flag Day, was founded right here in Yeadon. Why would we want to ruin that and besmirch that by just changing the name? So I told him I'm open to other suggestions. If you want to combine the name and different things, I believe they've already spoken to the family to try to test the waters on that. But I, for one, I don't know where you would stand, but I would want Kerr Field to remain Kerr Field. We gave it to them as Kerr Field, and we don't want to keep on changing, and it disrespects not just the family. And I told them, yeah, it's not just the family. You disrespect Yeadon, Delaware County, the state of Pennsylvania, and I could argue the nation if you started changing. And he lived right there. William T. Kerr lived right behind Kerr Field, and he grew up in Cypress Street and made this his home for 50 years. He actually lived here. So I wanted to express that to you, express to you where I stand as your mayor, and that I'm defending Yeadon and the history of William T. Kerr to remain, to keep that name.
What about, if I may ask you, what about that little street that goes right to, it's part of Bailey Road, but it's where you turn to that small street? Could that be maybe Curry Way or something like that?
There's talk of maybe naming part of the field, or the athletic, the track and field area, or some other place that, there's some kind of other suggestions, so like that. So I don't know where that, but I don't, I think it would be a disservice, not just to the family, but to Yeadon and to his national significance if we just changed that name and disregarded it, okay?
I wanted to just say that, I don't know where they are with that, but when I spoke to Dr. B. Coates, that wasn't even going to be considered that they were going to name Kerr Field after Rap Curry, because they're already naming the field where he grew up in Lansdowne after him. So I don't know why they're still even entertaining Rap Curry as the name of Kerr Field. So my understanding, Inner Borough Field in Lansdowne, where he grew up right on Bartram Avenue, which is right there. They're going to already, Lansdowne Council voted to name that after him, and they're having a ceremony in October for that. So, I mean, it wouldn't make sense to name Kerr Field after Rap and the park after Rap. That doesn't make sense. So I'm not sure why they're even still talking about it.
I don't understand that.
So, in my opinion, they need to come to a resolution about it, because my concern is more, what are we going to be able to do with the field more than the name? I mean, I went to Penwood, so if they name it Penwood Athletic Center, that would make me happy too. But my concern is, are we going to be able to use the field? Because that seems to be more of a, you know, with the residents want to use the track, people are already complaining that they have it padlocked, they can't get over there to walk in the morning. A lot of people like to walk the track, a lot of people want to use it for that. And also, Flag Day. We used to have the fireworks over there. So for me, that would make more of an issue, but that's just my opinion. And this is what I want to say about the Kerr family. If they want the legacy to remain in Yeadon, they need to have more of a visible presence in Yeadon, because I don't believe the Kerrs have ever really done much in Yeadon since then. So if we could reach out to them, have them come back, his descendants, have them do a presentation on Flag Day, that would be wonderful, because they're really not visible. So I'm wondering what their investment in Yeadon is at that time, at this time. So that's just my opinion.
It's been a few years since they've been here.
They used to come every year for decades, and it's kind of fallen off. The
Yeah.
grandson has gotten old, but I've been in Flag Day almost for 40 years. So they used to come, make a speech every single year, march in the parade. It's only the last couple of years.
Because I haven't seen it in a
But to me, it has
long
nothing to
time.
do with the Kerr family. To me, it has nothing, I don't care if they never come. It has to do with a man that lived here for
Okay.
50
Well, that's
years.
just my opinion.
Okay,
I mean, we have
that put us on the map and did something very significant.
Okay.
And we named the field. I don't care if I'd never seen them. I mean, it would be great if they came back, but it has nothing to do with, it's about Yeadon.
Okay, well,
It's about
that's
Yeadon.
fine, Mayor, but that was just my opinion.
Okay, and that's
I wasn't
fine.
really asking
Yeah.
if you cared.
Yeah.
I was just giving my opinion.
I was just telling
wanted to put
the
that-
priority of the
I
disconsider.
mean, we all have opinions,
Yeah,
right?
Yep, yeah.
So your opinion's not more valid than my opinion. I hope we're not putting that
I'm
out
not saying that, I'm just telling you
Okay,
that
all
I
right.
look at it,
I'm
that
hoping-
has nothing to do with what they do.
And I'm hoping that the residents, that we're all going to be welcome
That's
to walk that
where
track.
I want to, that's what I'm saying.
Well, those changes are, now that and that's what I'm trying to discuss and educate the residents of the new reality, that now that we have a minted track with a lot at stake and a big investment of,
Yeah, they're scared.
so
They're
they're
very
scared.
afraid. Yeah.
I mean, and some of the, like I just said, some of the concerns are very valid. You don't
Yes.
want bikes and motorcycles and gangs hanging out. But at the other, on the other side of the coin, you don't want to lock out the Yeadon residents that have been
Yes,
using that for years.
That's my concern.
Okay, we don't want to lock
That's
out
my
the
concern.
yeah. Because now that they're saying, like, when it was not built up, the William Penn School District didn't care.
Right,
That we were
yes.
walking there, dogs
Right.
were there, you know.
So now they want to say,
Now,
oh, we
it's
spent $14
like,
million,
yeah, so now you can't use it,
Yes.
so,
But the
you know, I just
reality-
want to, yeah, I just want to update the residents that, you know, this is what we got to look at here.
And the
And
other
we're going to
thing
fight
is,
for you.
The taxpayers, that is the highest tax that taxpayers pay in Yeadon.
Right.
And I hope that they are not gonna say they're not welcome.
Yes, that would be horrible. That would be horrible.
So those are the issues that's before us, and we're going to be, I'm going to be writing a letter to Dr. B. Coates to express my view, not just the name, but all those
Well, I
issues.
thought he was gonna come. Well, he told me he
Well,
would come to speak to.
We are going to, I'm trying to get another meeting or special this is a very big
Okay.
thing, okay? Because Yeadon residents need to know
Right.
and need to
'Cause they
voice
need
their
to hear-
opinion.
They need to hear from him.
Yeah, and I don't know if we could do
can't
that
be
all
locked
in a
down.
school meeting.
So-
It doesn't give, we want a special meeting here.
So how did they intend to keep the residents out of the field?
Well, like Councilor Beatty said, there's been locks and I don't know, Chief, do you know, have we, because a lot of this is a work in progress, it's not.
I've actually seen residents, yesterday when we went to do a security walk, who actually walking around the track, so I don't know.
Great,
Oh,
okay,
good.
that's good.
At certain times, the gate is open,
Okay, so-
and at other times, the gate is locked.
Yeah, so we
need to
have,
know the time.
we need to know the times, we have to come up with an understanding of when it's going to be open to Yeadon residents, and there's got to be proper signage. I think there is, that you can't have bicycles or bikes.
No bicycles, no vehicles.
Yeah, the way it was
Well, that makes
before.
sense.
That makes sense, but we
Other
should,
stuff doesn't go
Yeah,
down
but-
back there eventually either.
School district, they said their intention is to actually open it like in mid-November.
yeah.
And to allow it to be open from dawn to dusk. But there is
Okay.
no resolution with regards to what piece will be allowed to walk on. If it's just the black tar piece or if it's the track. My personal opinion, we need the track. The track is much more easier for people to
Yeah,
walk.
of
Yes,
course.
Than a
absolutely.
black tar. It
Of
also
course.
allows for more people to walk side by side.
We don't want to
Yes.
limit the residents to the black tarp. We want to, as long as they have the proper athletic wear, we should be allowed to use the track.
I think we're gonna have a great time.
All right? Yeah, so, and this one, I try to tell the school district, we gave that land to the William Penn School District. This was our land when it was Yeadon, okay, that's our land. And it's 100% in Yeadon, so we have a disproportional responsibility to police that area even when the track is closed. There'll be people hanging out and the chief and our police department, we have to patrol that. Okay, even though it's in the William Penn, as part of the William Penn School District, it's 100% in Yeadon.
Yes, absolutely.
It's our land.
Yeah.
It's still, in a sense, that we got to patrol it because it's in our area. It's in our borders.
Thank you.
Can we try to bring him back and?
Yeah, we're working on something.
And
Yeah.
whatever, I think the groundbreaking is in November.
Yeah, we're going to try, yeah, well, I want to have a meeting before the grand opening in November,
Right.
sometime in October. Yeah. We'll invite him, man.
Thanks, Mayor.
And there's my report.
Thank you. Manager's report.
Just 3 motions. Consideration for entering into a separation agreement.
So moved.
May I get a second?
Second.
Any questions, concerns?
I think you can do that on a
Vote,
person.
please.
President Johnson,
Yes.
Vice President Rollcloud,
Yes.
Councilor Jones Waters,
Yes.
Councilor Harris,
No.
Councilor Beatty,
Yes.
motion carries. Consideration to enter into an agreement with a property registration company. Pro Champs went out of business. The ordinance doesn't have to be updated or anything. This is for the foreclosures and vacant properties in the borough to make sure that they register, maintain the properties, and the borough also receives revenues for the properties to register here in the municipality.
So moved. May I get a second?
Second.
Any questions, concerns?
Questions? Are there any changes in the fees?
No.
Okay.
May we have a vote?
President Johnson,
Yes.
Vice President Rollcloud,
Yes.
Councilor Jones Waters,
Yes.
Council Harris,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty.
Yes.
The vote is unanimous. Finally, the consideration of awarding an annual HVAC maintenance contract to maintain the borough's HVAC systems, in the library's HVAC system.
So moved. Second? May I get a second?
Second.
Second. Thank you, Ms. Jones. Any questions, concerns?
Question. Who's currently maintaining
Oliver,
Oliver?
we did receive 4 quotes. This was the lowest responsible quote.
Okay. Okay.
Vote, please.
President Johnson,
Yes.
Vice President Roll Cloud,
Yes.
Councilor Jones Waters,
Yes.
Council Harris,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty.
Yes.
The vote carried.
Thank you. Solicitors report, Mr. Kilkenny.
So I want to thank everybody for their gracious welcome here in Yeadon. I want to thank the confidence that council has shown me and the firm. I look forward to working with Yeadon. I want to say I did meet and had a nice call with Mr. Boggs to go over matters. Sounds like a few might have fell through the cracks, but we'll follow up on those. And I want to thank Pannoni and Mr. Nichols for reaching out to me as well. And look forward to serving Yeadon as well as my other clients in Delaware County. So look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
President's report. At the workshop, many of you were at the workshop, and I was talking about the cemetery, the gates. Mr. Dodson, when he was here, and also Mr. Nichols, have been speaking to them about painting that fence. It looks awful. And Mr. Nichols, could you please check with Mr. Stokes to see what time frame they have
Yes.
in getting that fence painted, because it's starting to look nice, really. Also, I've been speaking with the chief, and the chief's been speaking with Mike in reference to blocking the box right here at Bailey Road and Church Lane. You come down here at 3 o'clock, between 3 and 6, you may not be able to make a left turn off of Bailey Road onto Church. So they're looking into that, because this has been going on for a long time. We had a young lady, Miss Pat Shannon. She signed up to be on the Planning Commission. And I'm asking residents, please come sign up to be on different things that are going on in the borough, recreation, finance, whatever. We need your input. So please, we're going to put something on the line, on the website. So please come and be a part. Come out every now and then to a meeting. Also, I'm creating a Citizens Advisory Board. I call it the CAB. We need your input. And I'm looking for at least one person from every precinct to sit down and give your opinion on what things need to happen. A lot of you have the heartbeat of the community. You know what people are feeling. So I'll be reaching out. Something also to that effect will be going on the website. Come and be a part. Let's come together and get some things done in Yeadon.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that was already started, the citizens.
Someone said they
It was
thought it
already
was, but
started. You
nobody
might want
did
to speak
anything.
you might want to speak with Sharon concerning that,
Mhm.
because I think there's already people on that committee.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that's the end of my report.
I have a question
Okay.
for you as well, Councilor Johnson, and thank you for your report. So, specifically, I want to talk about that fence. You said the fence was hideous, right? So apparently you reported the fence, right? Did you report the fence?
I spoke
code.
with Mr. Dodson, who went and spoke with the people at the cemetery.
And we do have a code relating
Well, he
to
said
eyesores, right?
Mr. Stokes over
Right.
to
Right,
them.
so we
Yeah.
do have a code, an ordinance,
Mhm.
that deals with eyesores, right? So, we have a counselor that decided to, and that was a great thing. You seen something that was in violation of our ordinances, and you reported same, right? For the sake of the community, quality of life.
And for them to be cited if they would.
We have a counselor who made a statement to a newspaper saying that I spy on the residents and report them to code when they're violating the ordinances.
You trespass on people's properties. You trespass on people's properties. You trespasses on people's property. Stop trespassing on people's property.
That one right there, please.
Now, you know what?
So, no, let me
Only one
finish. So
person
let
should
me
be
finish.
talking at a
Okay,
time.
so let me finish. Let me finish. So, that statement was sent to a public newspaper. To me, that's a dog whistle. That's a problem.
You're the problem.
Please, one person at a time.
That's a problem. That's a public safety problem.
You're the public safety problem. Anytime you want to confront a council member and say you want to kick their behinds, you're a problem. You're the public problem. You're the nuisance in this community.
No,
Stop calling out from the audience, please. Thank you. Excuse me? Excuse me?
We don't need,
Excuse me? You're
listen,
very
we have enough
ignorant.
going on up here,
You're
though.
very ignorant.
We have enough going on up
Very
here.
ignorant.
Please,
Time out.
do not speak out from the audience. Please don't do it.
You're very
Don't do it.
ignorant. You don't have any intelligence. If you did, you would stop
don't
doing what
do
you're
that.
doing.
Okay, guys,
Please.
all right.
Don't do
Time
that.
out. Let the counselor
You don't
finish.
Now, we've
deserve
been
to be
having a
on
pretty
any
good
committee.
meeting.
You don't, no, you shut up.
You know what?
You shut up. You're ignorant.
All right, guys.
You're
Yeah,
ignorant.
but she
If a
shouldn't
council
handle it that
member
way
is
either.
referring to another council member, you leave this up here. I don't need you to comment or
Point of order, Councilor Johnson.
Yeah, point of order. Point of order.
Point of order. Come on, Eve. Come on, please.
What we should do is,
I tell you what, I am not going to be sitting up here till midnight.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. You know
Whether
full
she
well
did
that she
or not
referred
is
to me.
in the
You know
past.
full well.
Leave it alone.
You know full
Guys,
well.
guys.
You know what?
You know full well.
Okay, guys.
Councilor
And I don't
Beatty.
have to hide
Councilor
from anybody
Beatty.
or anything.
this started when,
I don't have to
All right,
hide
folks.
from anyone.
let the
or
counselor finish her
anything. And I
statement.
can
That's how
stand
this
my
started.
ground.
Let the
I
counselor,
can stand my
let's
ground.
Councilor Road
And I
Cloud
will
finish her
take
statement. Without interruption.
So, as I was saying,
Yeah,
Stop
as I was
spying on
saying,
Yeah,
One
let,
person at a time, please.
Yeah.
You can get your rebuttal. Let her say what she
Correct.
wants to
Let her
say.
finish.
We don't need everybody chiming in.
Correct.
Say what you want to say.
as I was saying, that is a public safety hazard. That's a dog whistle to jeopardize someone's safety.
Well, you do it all the time.
There you go again.
Well, she does it all the time.
But wait a minute. You're going to get your turn.
That's a dog whistle.
You're the dog whistle.
She keep running her mouth, and then when I go down that rabbit hole with her, she's
What you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
See,
I'm
now
not threatening.
that is unprofessional. That is unprofessional.
This
All
ain't
right,
the first time, and this ain't the last time you threatened me. This ain't the first time, this ain't the last time that you threatened me. And ain't nobody scared of you. And ain't nobody scared of you. No one is scared of you.
That's what you need.
You know, I really wish.
You are a bully, and no one's scared of you. No
You
one's
know what?
scared
Come on.
of
You all are not acting professional in this room.
You are a bully and you're a troll on next door neighbor. You're a bully and you're a troll. You're a bully and you're a troll. You're a bully
Counselor Jones
and you're a
Waters.
troll, and nobody's scared of you.
Counselor Jones Waters.
Nobody's scared of you.
Counselor Jones Waters.
Nobody's scared of you. At least I got it, Daddy. At least I got it, Daddy.
it's two more agenda items.
Can't say say
the
things
chief.
about
block
you.
party.
Do you know?
Wait a minute, Council Road Cloud. We have one more, the chief needs us to vote on something.
You don't need a vote, right?
No,
Anything.
the chief needs us to vote.
It's
You're
a
nothing
JAG
but a
grant.
bully. You're nothing
This
but
is a
bully.
JAG grant. We
Nobody's
can't leave this
scared
one
of
on the table. The county needs that vote.
The county needs
The
what?
county needs this vote because we're
gotta
getting
vote on this.
$10,000 grant.
We have to vote on this.
You know what we gotta do?
You're a
Make
bully.
sure that the community is
You're
safe.
a bully.
Safe from people like
You are a bully
That's
trespassing on people's properties.
Yeah,
Trespassing on
that is
people's
important.
properties.
But
You
I
are
don't
a
see what
bully.
she gonna hurt you.
You are a bully.
We have to
We have
vote
to
on
vote
that
on
one
this.
thing. Bring that up.
Nobody's scared of you.
JAG grant, please.
Call for the vote, please.
Consideration to approve the consideration to approve the 2023 Edward Bernie Justice Assistance Grant.
So moved.
May I get a second?
All in favor?
No.
President Johnson?
You made sure of that, didn't you?
President Johnson?
Okay.
She's still,
please.
right, she's still at it,
But
right?
Take the vote, please.
But she's a council member.
Yes.
Have some
Vice
respect.
President Rowe.
I don't have a vote.
Yes.
I could talk.
Councilor Jones Wooders?
Yes.
Council Harris? Councilor Beatty?
Yes.
And I also vote yes for Ms. Council.
Shut
And the
up,
block party is,
Consideration to approve the block party application
So
of
moved.
Antoinette Trueheart.
So moved.
Second.
all right.
Questions, concerns?
No.
Take the vote, please.
President Johnson?
Yes.
Vice President Rowe Cloud?
Yes.
Councilor Jones Wooders?
Yes.
Councilor Harris? Yes. Councilor Beatty?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Last thing, old business, Mr. Nichols, have you advertised for the borough manager position,
Yes, it's on the PSBA site. I sent the information to them.
PSAB? What about COGG?
The COG, yes, that went out.
Indeed,
Not our website, on the.
but we need it on our website. Please put it on our website.
We can, we're getting there.
Yeah, put it on the website. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
This meeting's adjourned.
Done,
This meeting's adjourned.
done, adjourned. Thank you.
Welcome to Yeadon.
They ain't have a thing to do with it.